The elderly woman walking into the Baseball Hall of Fame is not Geena Davis in old age makeup. Tom Hanks invented his character's entire backstory on set. These are 15 hidden details you completely missed in A League of Their Own. Number 15. The opening scene shows an elderly woman stepping into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and every viewer assumes it is actress Geena Davis concealed beneath prosthetics. It is not. Director Penny Marshall made a deliberate decision to cast an actual older actress for the role. That woman is 65-year-old actress Lynn Cartwright. Davis contributed only her voice, dubbed over Cartwright's lip movements in post-production. Producer Elliot Abbott called it a calculated creative gamble. Look closely at the elderly Dottie's face and hands during the Cooperstown arrival sequence. The physical proportions do not match Davis at any angle. Every viewer has spent decades watching a different actress without realizing it. The Cooperstown ending that introduced her almost did not survive to the finished film. Number 14. The Cooperstown reunion feels like the inevitable emotional conclusion of the entire story. Columbia Pictures tried to cut it. The studio pushed Marshall to end the film with Dottie boarding a bus, removing the Hall of Fame sequences completely. Co-writer Lowell Gans confirmed in a Hollywood Reporter interview that executives wanted those scenes gone. Marshall refused and demanded a test screening with the Cooperstown version intact. The audience score came back measurably higher with it included. After winning the argument, she shot a brand new opening of elderly Dottie traveling to Cooperstown during the final week of principal photography in late October 1991. Watch that opening sequence knowing it was the last footage the production captured. The 65 women visible inside that Hall of Fame are not background performers. Number 13. The closing credits show older women playing baseball on what reads as a staged period recreation. Every woman on that field played in the actual All-American Girls Professional Baseball League between 1943 and 1954. Marshall tracked down 65 surviving players and brought them to Cooperstown for the sequence. 2 of them received speaking roles. Shirley Burkovich plays older Skeeter and delivers a line directly to Dottie on screen. Dolores Lee Dries is the woman in the bleachers who declares Dottie the best player in the league. Look at how the women handle the ball during the end credits game. The throwing and fielding mechanics belong to people who spent years in professional competition. One of those real player names also hides inside the film's most recognizable character. Number 12. Madonna's character is named All the Way May, and the nickname reads as a personality-based joke written for the film. It is not. The name traces to a real All-American Girls Professional Baseball League player named Faye Dancer, whose nickname All the Way Faye had nothing to do with her personality and everything to do with how she played. Dancer served as a film advisor and described the nickname in published interviews as a reference to her relentless physical commitment on the field. Marshall used that playing reputation as the direct inspiration for the character's name. Watch May's fielding sequences and look at the physical effort she brings to every play. The name is not a gag, it is a tribute to a specific real athlete. Number 11. Every pitching sequence shows Peaches hurlers throwing overhand at full speed in the 1943 season. That is historically wrong by 5 years. The real league used a 12-inch softball-sized ball and underhand windmill pitching from 40 feet in its opening season. The transition to sidearm delivery did not come until 1947, and full overhand pitching not until 1948. Marshall and the writers made a conscious dramatic decision to show the later playing style because overhand pitching photographed more dynamically on screen. Pause during any pitching sequence and look at the grip and release angle. According to documented league history, everything visible is set 5 years ahead of where the story takes place. The central character at the dugout was also drawn from a real historical figure the writers deliberately chose to alter. Number 10. Jimmy Dugan reads as a complete character from his very first scene, built around a specific personal history of collapse. That history was never in the script. Actor Tom Hanks created it himself between takes after Marshall instructed him to arrive having gained as much weight as possible and looking completely defeated. Hanks pushed back and asked why the character had fallen apart. When no written explanation existed, he invented one on set. He told Marshall that Jimmy had blown out his knee while trying to escape a situation, and that injury ended his playing career. Marshall accepted it immediately. Watch Hanks in his first dugout scene and notice how the physical weight and behavioral defeat function as a single unified choice. The film's most famous line had a similarly hidden origin. Number 9. The line reads like an unscripted outburst that defines a character in a single moment. Gans and co-writer Babalu Mandel wrote it into the first draft, and it consistently failed in every read-through. According to a Rolling Stone oral history marking the film's 30th anniversary, Hanks confirmed the line never scored in rehearsal and that everything shifted when actress Bitty Schramm genuinely broke down on camera during filming. Schramm's real reaction gave Hanks permission to escalate past anything rehearsal had produced. The line now sits at number 54 on the American Film Institute's 100 Greatest Movie Quotes list. Watch Hanks in the seconds before he delivers it and observe the intensity building in real time. A scripted line that failed every rehearsal only worked because the reaction opposite it was completely unplanned. Number 8. Jimmy and Dottie share one charged conversation on the pitcher's mound in the film, and nothing develops between them. That restraint was not the original plan. Columbia Pictures pushed Marshall to include a romantic resolution because two major stars were sharing scenes, and the studio wanted a payoff. A version of the mound scene was filmed that ended with a kiss. The sequence was tested with audiences, and the response was negative. Davis later confirmed in a Hollywood Reporter interview that real All-American Girls Professional Baseball League veterans advising on set objected strongly, saying the scene misrepresented the actual relationship between coaches and players. The kiss was removed. Pause the mound conversation and notice how abruptly it ends. That cut is the mark of a studio decision reversed by audience data. Number 7. The Doris role reads as something crafted specifically for actress Rosie O'Donnell. It was not written for her. O'Donnell originally auditioned for Marla Hooch and lost the part to actress Megan Cavanagh. According to cast interviews, O'Donnell told Cavanagh directly after the audition that she was the best Marla the production had seen. Marshall liked O'Donnell enough from that reading to expand the Doris role, creating screen time that did not exist in the original screenplay. The Doris, visible in the finished film, is substantially larger than what was written. Watch O'Donnell in her earliest Peaches scenes and look at how much screen time she commands relative to the players around her. That scale was not in the blueprint. The production's most prominent new casting created a far larger crisis before filming began. Number 6. The Evansville, Indiana ballpark sequences play without friction on screen. Behind the camera, a nationally reported story was developing. In a November 1991 published interview, Madonna said filming in Evansville made her feel as though she may as well have been in Prague. The reaction was immediate. Barry Witherspoon, program director at Evansville radio station WSTO, organized roughly 300 residents to form a human billboard at a stadium parking lot on December 7, 1991. The formation spelled out Madonna's name with a circle and slash, was photographed from a helicopter and circulated nationally. Those Evansville sequences were filmed at Boss Field, which opened in 1915 and remains one of the oldest professional ballparks still in active use. Look at those scenes knowing the filming city was in open public conflict with the production. Number 5. Davis reads as the inevitable casting choice. She was the third actress attached to the role. Deborah Winger trained for 3 months with the Chicago Cubs and was 4 weeks from the start of principal photography when she departed. Winger explained publicly in 2021 that the casting direction the project had taken changed the film in a way she could not support. She confirmed she collected her full pay-or-play settlement, which trade reports placed at approximately $2 million to $300. Davis replaced Winger after a single impromptu throwing session in Marshall's yard over the objections of Davis's own agents. Watch Davis in any full-speed throwing or fielding sequence and study the athletic mechanics. That precision was built across weeks, not months. Winger was not the first lead actress this production had lost. Number 4. The production history appears to begin and end with Marshall. It does not. When the project was at 20th Century Fox under director David Anspaugh in mid-1990, Demi Moore was attached as Dottie and came within days of rehearsals. A pregnancy forced Moore out, and the project went into turnaround. The film moved to Columbia Pictures, where Marshall took over and the casting began again. In 2013, Marshall said, "Demi Moore I liked, but by the time we came around, she was pregnant." Davis arrived as the third version of the lead after the film had existed across 2 separate studios with 2 complete casts. Look at the early scenes between Dottie and Kit and recognize that sibling dynamic was rebuilt entirely twice. The character was also assembled from 3 separate real women. Number 3. Dottie Hinson reads as a fictional character placed inside a real historical setting. She is a composite of 3 documented players. Dorothy Kamenchek played first base for the Rockford Peaches and was known for the splits at the bag. Mary Baker was the league's most recognized public face and appeared in Life magazine. Helen Callaghan was the outfielder whose 1987 documentary, produced by her son Kelly Candale, first brought the league story to a producer and inspired the film's conception. Helen was dying when the film opened in 1992 and watched it with Kelly before her death. The magazine cover image of Dottie doing the splits merges Kamenchek's real technique with Baker's life profile. Look at that image in the film and understand it represents 2 different women fused into one shot. Number 2, "This Used to Be My Playground" plays over the film's closing sequence and sounds like the musical heart of the production. It is not on the official soundtrack album. Madonna was on Warner Brothers Records while Columbia released the soundtrack, making inclusion impossible. Madonna and music producer Shep Pettibone wrote and recorded the song in 2 days. Released on June 16, 1992, it reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on August 8, 1992, becoming Madonna's 10th chart-topping single. Published reports indicate the song has never been performed in concert. Watch the closing sequence and recognize that the most emotionally effective music in the film exists in a contractual gap between 2 competing record labels. The film's most physically visible transformation was also the result of a single direct instruction. Number 1. Jimmy Dugan's physical appearance reads as a costume choice layered over a performance. The weight was real and came from a direct instruction. Marshall told Hanks before production to gain as much weight as he could because a lean, presentable Hanks would undermine the character's deterioration on screen. Hanks said in a 1992 published interview that he gained approximately 30 pounds through what he described as barbecue pork ribs and the desserts of America. He later acknowledged that significant weight changes across multiple productions contributed to health developments that followed. Look at Hanks in his first dugout scene and compare that physical presence to his later appearances when Jimmy reasserts himself. The transformation is embedded into the performance from moment to moment. The weight is not a costume. It is the performance itself. A League of Their Own lost 2 lead actresses, nearly had its Hall of Fame ending cut, and placed its most recognized song at number 1 without ever putting it on the soundtrack. Every woman in the closing credits actually played in the league. Which hidden detail surprised you most? And what film should we open next?